We've been told a lie. Somewhere along the way, women were taught that after 50, we're supposed to fade. We're supposed to shrink. We're supposed to become less visible, less vibrant, and less valuable. Well, I am here to dispel that myth. Welcome back to Rollerset to Mindset, where we work with women. We guide women who are 50 and what I seem to call wiser to create bold, more joyful, more creative lives. Lives that's rooted in clarity, courage, confidence, and bliss. I'm your host, Angela B. Fuller. Welcome back to another episode of Rollerset to Mindset. Let me begin by saying this. It is time to be seen, ladies. All my ladies out there in the third quarter of life, it is time to be seen. No more shrinking. No, 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 no. No more hiding and no more settling. And this is the truth. This is not your fading season. This is your blooming season. And you are not invisible, you are invincible. And I want you to start to believe that. I want you to begin to tell yourself the truth about you because you are not irrelevant by no stretch of the imagination. You're not irrelevant. You're in your becoming stage. And sometimes I know you might feel like the world is calling on a more, a smaller version of you, you know? But in my opinion, it needs that bolder, that softer, that more honest version of you, fully expressed, fully lit up, and fully you. And I know a lot of times that we start to believe that it is our time to shrink, that we've given the world all that we can give them, and it's time for us to move aside and let the next generation come through. But when you think about all the wisdom that you have, all the professional experiences that you have had, all the life experience that you've had, don't you begin to wonder why aren't you out here using that to create more impact and to create more joy and usefulness in your life? I think that once we get in the third quarter, we got to realize that we've done our part. You know, we've raised our children, we've put into the world, we have given of ourselves, and now our grandkids are coming up. And we want to believe that that is our plot in life, to do the process all over again, but to do it with the grandchildren. You know what I mean? That we are to let the next generation come on in and show us what they got. But understand this, they can't show what they got if if we're not willing to allow them to see us in action, because I think that we need to begin to understand that the younger generation, the generation that's coming up behind us, they need to see it. Because when you think about who you were in your 20s and your 30s, you were just as unsure as the ones coming up. But somehow when we get older, we seem to think that our voice, our experiences are no longer relative. And I know I'm not the only one feeling that way. So I want you to take this minute to be transparent, to be open up, and just put in the comment, what are some of the struggles that you're having at the age of 50, 60, 70, when it comes to not trusting yourself, when it comes to not speaking up and be willing to voice your opinion or your knowledge about a thing. So I want you to consider this. I want you to think about, what does it mean to be fully visible? Does that, and not only what does it mean, but how does it make you feel? Does it make you feel nervous? Does it make you feel anxious? Does it make you feel uneasy? Because I think a lot of times we think being visible has to do with being in the spotlight, or being the object of someone's attention or of others' attention. And that's not what being visible is about. Being visible is about your presence. It's about your regalness. It's about your purpose. It's about being at a place in your life where that you know you have something to offer, something to give. It's about choosing no longer to apologize for your power. And believe me, you do have power. So if I had to say three things of what being visible means to me, then I want you to put in the chat, what does it mean to be visible to you? Because visibility to me, it means owning my story, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we all have them. We all have the good, we all have the bad, and we all have the ugly. But all of those things still do not ultimately define who we are. You know, when you have the ability to own your story, even the ones that left you broken, even the ones that cause you to feel vulnerable and gullible. Yes, those things. Those are the ones that have allowed you to be who you are today. Another thing that being visible means to me, it means showing up as I am. And it ought to mean showing up as you are, with all your faults, with all your glories, not who others told you you ought to be, but who you have come to know yourself to be, who you have read about in God's word as to who you are. I say it all the time. You are visible. You are beautifully and wonderfully made, fearfully made. That means God took his time and he poured into you like a beautiful garden. He dressed you and he pronounced you good. That's who you are. That's who the world needs to see more of. And another thing that being visible means to me, it means wearing joy. It means wearing joy, the perfect lipstick that you love, how it brings you joy, how it makes you feel powerful, it makes you feel feminine. That's what being visible is. Not as decoration, but declaration, declaring who you are as a woman, as an entrepreneur, as a creator, as a mother, as a daughter. All those things help make up you. And all of those things carry value, carry weight like gold. Being visible might look like finally, hear me out, finally launching that idea that's been written in your journal for years. So I want you to grab that journal and dust it off and breathe life into it, because it's still there. It's still a part of you, and it's waiting for you to pick it up and give it to the world, because the world needs it. The world needs you. It needs your ideas. It needs your experiences. Also, being visible, it means saying no. Did you hear me? It means saying no without guilt. It means saying, I don't think that's going to work for me. How did that make you feel? Did that make you cringe? For you to say, that is not going to work for me. No, thank you. I am going to pass on that invitation. It means wearing red lipstick to the grocery store just because you can. Do you hear me? Red lipstick with your earrings to the grocery store because you can. Can I get an amen for that one? It means speaking up in a room. How about this one? Speaking up in a room that once made you shrink. And it means knowing that you deserve a seat at the table. And when you sit at the table, you don't cross your legs at the ankle, you cross your legs at the knees, because that's your business and that's who you are. So it's the energy of walking into a room and not needing to prove yourself. Just walking into a room and being rooted in your own light is enough. It's more than enough. It is the thing that makes others pause. It is the thing that make other women admire who you are and wish that they could just be a glimpse of that, because it is that they want for themselves. You'd be surprised how you teach people without even saying a word. Your presence, your countenance, your smile, your aura is enough to teach another woman who she is, who she can be, and who she can become. So when you fail to show up in your rich, authentic self, it's like you're failing to give another woman permission to be those things for herself. So put in the chat for me, today I will begin to show up differently. Today I will begin to show up visible because I can. I want to share something with you. I want to offer you an equation. I want to offer you an equation. And this equation is this. Write it down. Power plus purpose plus presence equals your next chapter. I want you to say it with me. My power plus my purpose plus my presence equals my next chapter. And just sit with that for a minute and come to terms with using your imagination. What does that mean, your power? When you think of your power, what do you think of? How would you define your power? And if nothing comes to mind, then I want you to sit with that until something does. Be persistent until something does. Pray about it until something comes up when you are talking about your power. What about your purpose? What comes to mind when you think about your purpose? Does it fear? Is it fearful? Does fear come up? Does apprehension come up? Does a lack of understanding about it comes up? And if that is the case, then I want you to do what? I want you to pray about it. I want you to sit with it until you come to terms with your purpose. And the last thing is, when you think about your presence, what comes to mind for you? Do you feel like you want to shy away, or do you feel like you want to sit up like a lion? And if you struggle with what your presence looks like, feels like, smells like, I want you to sit with that. And I want you to open yourself up and pray about what am I presenting when I think about my presence? And if there's struggle there, I want to encourage you to continue to sit with it until something beautiful just builds up inside of you. And you can say, I understand now. I understand the power and the purpose and the presence of my life. And these things help me to work out and work through my next chapter because it's all waiting for you. But until you become familiar with it, until you embrace it, you're going to miss it. And guess what? You can't afford to miss it. Because when you miss it, the women who are waiting for you to get it so they could step are going to miss it. And that's a tall order to explain. So here's the thing. Your power isn't dominance. No, 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 no. That's not what I'm talking about. It's alignment. It's being in alignment. It's having a feeling of you're just settled. You're calm. You have an assurance, a blessed assurance. Your purpose isn't pressure. No, it's not pressure. It's clarity. You are crystal clear when it comes to your purpose. And you move when God says you move. So it requires you sitting and taking time and developing a relationship with God, reading His Word, meditating on His Word, and listening for clues that He will drop in your spirit so that you know how to move. And your presence, it's not perfection. It's not being perfect, but what it is, it's being in touch. It's having an awareness of things. It's having an awareness of your power. It's having an awareness of your purpose. Because once you have an awareness, then you begin to get clear. And then you can move with courage. You begin to develop courage. You know what I mean? And with courage, you take action. And every time you take action towards that towards that next life chapter, guess what? You get confident. You become confident. I'm not saying you're not going to have some apprehension or some fearful thoughts. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying in spite of it, you move with the apprehension. You take action with the fear. And then what you end up creating is a life that we all deserve. That's our birthright. And that's a life of joy. And that's a life of bliss. So when you stop playing small and start standing in this equation, the equation of what? Write it down. Write it down for me. The equation of power plus your purpose plus your presence. When you stop playing small and start standing in that equation, everything changes. Everything changes. And sometimes, listen to me now, listen, come closer. Sometimes it's suddenly. Sometimes it's suddenly. And sometimes it takes time. But when you work it, when you sit with it, when you meditate on it, it does come. Because for everything, there's a season and a time for everything under the sun. And your time is here. You just have to reach for it. You just have to do the things that's going to get you there. You just have to begin to love on yourself, to encourage yourself, to marinate on God's word, to get to know why you are here. Not just why you are here, but why you're still here. Because not everybody's still here. So if you're here, then that means there's time for you to walk in your purpose and to deposit in the earth what the Lord gave you so that He can get all the glory. So, you don't need to hustle to matter. You don't need to hustle for this to happen. You don't need to do more to be more. No. It's not about wearing yourself out. It's not about grinding, but it's about connection. It's about awareness. It's about clarity. And it's about accepting that calling. That's what it's about. You simply need to say yes to the woman you are becoming. You need to say, I thank you for the woman you used to be. You need to bless her, and blow her a kiss. Bless her for staying in the gap, for walking through that valley with you, for seeing when you could not see, because that woman who you used to be had to be in order for you to be now. So you bless her and you show her gratitude by finishing the race. If your future self was to come to you in this moment, your future self will say, I am waiting for you. There's no need for you to delay. There's no need for you to keep taking one step forward and 2 steps, 3 steps back. No. Who God created you to be is waiting for you. And it's just time for you to step into it. It's time for you to go ahead, make your mind up, and create that next life chapter. Because you know what you want it to be. And I want you to dream about it. I want you to call it forth. And I want you to call it forth with power. With power. There's no need to fear. Because something's going to come through. I'm saying call forth the good stuff. Call forth what is already yours. That next life chapter is waiting for you. And she's not going to wait and wait and wait. So let's not keep her waiting any longer. Just make your mind up and get on board. Get on board. And I know this message is not just for me or not just for 1 or 2 women. No, this message is an invitation for you to rise, for me to rise, for your coworker, for your church sister, for a stranger. So that means you have an obligation to share it out. You don't gatekeep it. Don't keep it to yourself. What good is that going to do? What good is that going to do? So if this message has stirred something in you, and I pray God it has. I mean, if it stirred a memory in which you knew you were created for more, but somehow you forgot. If it stirred a moment where you were seriously walking in your power, or if it created a desire in you that you've wanted for years, but you pushed it under the rug because you were doing this or doing that or taking care of this or taking care of that. I don't care what it is. If this message stirred that up in you, then I want you to know this, that it's not too late. You're on the cusp. It's waiting for you. Can't you taste it? I want you to know that if it stirs something up in you, then that means it's right on time. So that means you are right on time. So here's one thing you can do. You can join me inside the Fuller Life Chapter Hub, my community on school. It is a free space. Did you hear me? I said free. But what you do have to pay with your attention. Pay with your conversation. Pay with your vulnerability. Pay with a word for someone else who might be going through what you've already been through and you overcame. Fuller Life Chapter Hub, we're in the beginning stage. We're building this plane as we fly it because I want you to feel a part of it. I want you to feel as if you are a founding member, and your suggestions, your ideas, your vulnerability, it is welcomed, and it will be kept with tender, loving care. So it's a free space for women, where women just like you, we are reclaiming clarity, we're reclaiming courage, we're reclaiming confidence, and we are reclaiming our joy and our bliss. The goal is to do it weekly. Show up weekly, and I'd love to see your light in there. If that excites you, then leave a comment. Leave a comment, and I will be so ever grateful. And also hit the subscribe button. You know what I found out? Most of the women who listen to watch my podcast on YouTube aren't even subscribed. So that means if you're not subscribed and if you're not liking the message, then YouTube is not going to work for you nor me. So to get YouTube to push the message out, I need you to subscribe. I need you to like, and I need you to comment. Because God, you know why? Because your next life chapter deserves a front row seat. And when you do these things, you're in the front row seat. I am looking so forward to connecting with you on next week. I want to encourage you to continue to live each day, live each moment as if someone is watching you, looking for clues, looking for answers, looking for inspiration. Because when you give that, guess what happens? It's a boomerang. It comes right back to you. So I will talk with you later. Be blessed, okay? Bye.